This is a little segment that we have here at Eagle Pass High School with the Eagle Public Radio podcasting station. It was first created last year when a couple of the alumni started coming back from my first year as an audio-video student. Right now, we're lucky to have in the studio, in the podcasting station, we have Jacob Ayers. How you doing today, Jacob?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing okay. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show and welcome back to Eagle Pass. So happy to have you.
Yeah,
it was a great surprise seeing you yesterday. It was cool. Can you tell me a little bit, because I know you took this class and kind of a student, a little like a Renaissance type student who was in band, who was in not in drama. There was someone else who was in debate and audio video. You like all these things, you have all these interests, always going forward in all these projects. But right now you've kind of settled on the ultimate goal of being a lawyer. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. In high school I decided I was going to look around and try everything out, and I figured if I found something that I loved while I was in high school, I wouldn't have to waste time in college or whatever. I mean, at the time I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to go to college, but I mean I eventually did. But now that I'm in college, I know what it is I'm looking for. I'm I'm on the debate team at Texas A&M University, and I know that I've kind of found my home in that sense. But as well, I mean, I'm also working with 12th Man Productions pretty soon, and creating more content, like I did here in audio video. But ultimately, debate is my go-to.
And so you're in the debate team, you're in 12th Man Productions. One of our other alumni, a good friend of yours as well, and good friend of the show, Pedro Castro, is doing something similar like that, right? What is that one called? What network?
He's going to the University of Texas, and there at UT they have the same thing. It's called Longhorn Network, and so it's just run by the students and by the university. And you put out I think that UT's Longhorn Network is a little bit more involved. 12th Man Productions is just more of video for, you'll see the videos on Twitter and stuff like that. It's more social media than it is anything else. Longhorn Network has its own channel and stuff like that on ESPN. And so I think in terms of what Pedro's doing and doing over there at UT, he's giving out a lot more. I think he has a much bigger audience.
Okay.
So, for what he's doing. Right,
but at the same time, you are working with professional equipment.
Yeah,
you have
definitely.
Directors, you have runners, and and I, as y'all's teacher, and the first time teaching this class, period, that for me is it's amazing because I feel like wow, now we can share the stories that you guys are working with professional equipment in the field. They entrust y'all with the equipment. They entrust y'all with composition and framing and camera movements and
we're getting paid to do that too, and I think that's like the one thing that I didn't think about doing when I left. I wasn't when I graduated, I wasn't thinking I was going to go in and have professional equipment and be on field for football games and baseball games and be paid to do it as well. Here we're creating content because we wanted to create content because we liked having that satisfaction and hey, we made this from an idea in our head and created something that we didn't even think was possible. I made movies with Moses, I made movies with Pedro, and I wrote scripts with Jay. I never found one spot that I liked the most, but I think now that I'm working, through college, I find that cinematography is the one thing that I like doing the most. I like being behind the camera. I'm not an actor. I'm not, I don't have that kind of that persona, but I like being able to create something and see it from start to finish and create something special.
So I want to move on a little bit to your pursuing a law degree right now, because we do have kids that would like to go into this field, and we have great teachers here and great classes and great UIL programs and events that I think are beneficial to kids that want to go into law. Can you tell me a little bit about the things that you felt were good that you did? And then maybe afterwards tell me maybe something you found out about a little bit later that you might have missed and you're like, man, I should have done it sooner. If I would have known sooner, I should have done that and it would have helped me even more so.
Yeah, so junior year of high school, I was here and it was the fall semester and I was in an English course. And a friend of mine, there was an announcement that morning about the debate team, and I guess that they were just trying to get it going. And so she went and found some information on it, and she came into class and she was like, she seemed stressed, and I was like, what's up? And she goes, "Oh, I need a partner for debate," and I was like, "I'll do it." And I didn't even hesitate, and I was like, "I'll be your partner." And she was, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we that was the start of that was my first partner, and that was the start of the debate team right there. And we had our first tournament the week after we got back from winter vacation, and I was scared, but my sponsor was like, you are the only team that has actually stuck through this. The last team that said that they were going to do it, stayed at the hotel room and didn't even want to come out of the hotel in Laredo and come out and debate. And we said, that's not what we're here to do. We're here to learn. And we got defeated. We were decimated by every team that was there. We lost every time. We placed last at district. It was horrible. That following summer, I decided, I was going to take the initiative and start, looking at YouTube channels. And I found a debate camp that was in Austin. Went to that debate camp for a week and really learned more of the technical skills that I needed to have. So I came back and I had a new partner the next fall, senior year of 2015. And I said, you know what, look, this is what I know. This is what I'm going to teach you, and this is how we're going to do it. And he was like, perfect, let's do it. And we swept every tournament that we were at. We got first place for all 5 tournaments, and left district with second place, and went to state. Ultimately, the first, went to state without a coach, no help, outside help. It was just all me and my partner, and it was scary. It was a scary situation, but it was that is definitely something that I would have started off from freshman year because people don't know that debate you can get scholarships for. It's like any other sport. You can, if you're good at it, other schools will see you and say, hey, we want you to come debate for us. Like UT, for example. UT has a great debate program. So they go out and they scout people. They want people to come join their team and make it, continue to make it nationally known. And so they've got some of the best people in Texas debating for them. And if you do that in high school and you really have a passion for it, let's say, if you can argue with your mom, you can be a debater. That's all it takes is just you want to have that greater skill. You want to be able to go out and change something. There's multiple forms of debate here at Eagle Pass High School. There's cross-examination debate, which is more policy and policy change and things like. I think the topic for this year is education reform. So there's a lot on Common Core and standardized testing, and there's also Lincoln Douglas debate, which is more of a value debate, and that is more of over human rights and the ACLU and civil rights and things like that. And that's just kind of it's basically an opinion debate in Lincoln Douglas, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you are passionate about something and you want to go and speak your mind about it for UIL titles, then go and do it. If you think you can do it, you can do it, and don't let the fact that if there's not a coach for it, doesn't mean you can't do it, because I'm proof that you can.
And ultimately, if you're gonna go, even if you don't want to go into law, if you want to become a good writer, if you want to be a creative thinker, if you want to be a good AV student too, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You need to know how to write, not just write, but understand an argument, dissect it, put it in its most elemental forms. Identify the weak points in the argument, and then just kind of attack or find ways of aiming at that weak point, and then disassembling the whole argument from whatever side that they make you to take. But as far as other courses, other UIL events that you think would help students become more articulate in their debate skills, both directly and indirectly, is there anything else that kids can be involved in?
From what I understand, there's a lot of other writing courses, writing intensive courses. There's things like creative writing, ready writing. There's a lot of writing courses. And I think that maybe if I had taken, if I had done creative writing, I might have had a little bit more of a more experience in terms of winging it, because that's something you have to do a lot in debate. It's you'll get questioned on something, in the round, and you'll be like, how am I supposed to answer that in 3 seconds, and give a very good answer that has some substance and not something that's just filling time. Most of the time it is that. You just kind of want to put them off a little bit more while you think of something better.
Yeah.
But I think, creative writing is something that might help you in terms of how to formulate an argument and how to really understand it. In terms of how debate has helped me, I was saying earlier that it really helped me formulate research papers, for example. I mean, research papers are just one big argument that you have to get research for, and cross-examination debate is just one big argument that you have to get research for. If you don't have the correct research and the correct information, your argument's basically, useless.
Right.
So, doing cross-examination debate allowed me to have a more technical approach to essays, whether it was a 1-page essay or a 2-page essay or a 10-page essay. I now know how to properly approach it and how to dissect it and make a good essay, and that's a skill that I learned in high school, and now I'm able to apply to my sophomore year of college.
Are you so you're right now you're so there's a debate team for College Station, and you get to travel, they pay for all that, and you compete with other universities at that level with students that are more than likely going to be lawyers as well?
Yeah, so if, for example, our debate team right now, we've got a couple of people studying biology who are going to go on, to go to med school, but eventually, apparently, they just kind of want to have this skill under the belt. This is a free organization. They're getting free trips to Missouri, Oklahoma, Seattle, Chicago. We're going to Tennessee over spring break, and we're going to be in Knoxville for a week debating at the University of Tennessee. This is all free, but I mean, it's all experience that you get to have, and it's going to eventually come in handy. There's no way that these argumentative skills are just going to be thrown out the window. It's something that is going to stick with you, just like anything else will. It's just, right. I think it has a little bit more of an impact on other things.
Major. Are there any summer programs that you've heard about, or camps maybe after high school that you could take before college? Or even at the junior high level as you're going that you've heard of that would be beneficial for students here at Eagle Pass High School or in the Eagle Pass Independent School District that you know of?
Well, in terms of, if we're talking debate and stuff, that one Concordia University summer camp is something that I really enjoyed doing. There's other high schools put on camps like in San Antonio and Austin, and some of those are free. It's just, finding a place to stay while you're there, and, you go.
Wow. Now, I another cool thing about you, and I think a family member of yours too, something really neat that I found that's good, is that, you guys give back. I think you said your cousin or uncle who's a lawyer came in and talked to the team and kind of did a little preparation for y'all as a lawyer right now. And I think you're doing the same thing now as a college student who's in the debate team in college, A&M, Texas A&M at College Station, and you come in here and can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now for the team?
So right now it's mostly just some kind of some positive reinforcement. I know that it is stressful to be in this. You're putting yourself through a lot of stress. In each round, there's a study done by debaters that go into a round. Their heart rate raises by 20 BPM and goes in, and there's people that faint in rounds, and it's just it's a lot of stress that you put yourself through. But in the end, you gain skills that are useful in the real world, and I'm basically coming here and letting them know I'm a production of all that stress. I'm a big ball of stress, but I have these skills. I didn't have a coach, and we went through everything on our own, and it's okay. It's okay to lose. It's okay to fail, but learn from your failures. And I think that having someone who isn't as that much older than them come in and say it's okay to lose. It's okay to fall down every once in a while. Just get back up. Right. I think that gives them positive reinforcement. I saw them yesterday, and I told them that this is the first tournament today, and I think that they have some kind of semblance of hope in terms of if they do lose, then they know that they're going to come back next semester and beat down whoever they lost to.
Right. And then and you are the positive example. I'd say here you are coming back, giving back your experiences, and like you said, positive reinforcement, and now you're doing it at the collegiate level, which is fantastic. Okay, so there's a couple of questions I want to go over with respect to not just during college, but afterwards. Mm-hmm. And since unfortunately the political realm has gotten really dicey, it's mm-hmm. hard to talk about, and I try to be as neutral as possible, and I want to be as neutral as possible. And so I'm kind of prefacing this.
No, it's okay. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Okay. As far as so no one really gives, well, at least not that I'm aware of, like there's no such thing as like a pre-law degree. You get your degree in something else, mm-hmm. yeah. and then you take some examinations. It costs some money. You have to prepare for those exams or courses specifically for those exams. You're supposed to get a certain number or a certain value, right? And then from there you start applying to become to go to lawyer school.
Yeah, to law school. Yeah.
Law school. There you go.
Yeah.
So you were telling me about a really neat place that you were thinking about going to, and what's the test as well? So give us the test and tell us what's.
So the LSAT is just the lawyer SAT. You take it just like you would to take the SAT to get into college. So the LSAT is a lot more logic and value and things like that, and like how it would be like Jack has 5 apples and gives 2 apples to Amanda, but why did he give those 2 apples to Amanda?
Right.
Find the reasoning behind it, and then be like, you would just have to pull that information, just from that quotation and figure out, okay, like where is this coming from? Like it's not simple. There's no simple answers. I think that's what the LSAT is, and that's what confuses a lot of people, is that it's just very, very difficult to do, and there's a lot of boot camps and stuff, just like there is for the regular SAT. The score goes up to 150. That's the max score you can get on an LSAT. The average is around a 130, 140. Harvard takes a 150. Cornell takes a 150. NYU takes a 148. It's all they want the best. I was talking about UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, because I do want to do public policy after a while, and I think that the one thing I want to study while I'm in law school is international law, and kind of get a more, have a better sense of what's going on outside of the United States, because I think that's the one thing you need to know while you're formulating things, because America, takes influence from other countries. And to understand where it is, we're going in the future, you need to understand what other countries are doing as well. And that's just kind of, that's what I'm looking forward to, for law school, to start applying in January, and applying for grants and stuff to get money for LSATs and applications, because it's not cheap to apply and take the LSAT. But
right, because here, thank God, the kids are very fortunate, and I think the school is somehow, or the government somehow, able to pay for their examinations or SATs and stuff. But I remember when I had to take the GRE. And to take the test also to become a teacher, and all those things are a minimum of $150. I'm assuming LSATs that's like minimal, like 150 is probably more. LSAT. We had Mr. Valadez. He was an administrator when you were here, and so the test I'm going to talk about is the one that he did for the bar exam. Is that what it was? Okay, so
yeah,
that was incredible. As far as I know, it was like a 3-day test.
So the bar is something you take after law school.
Right.
You go to law school, you graduate from law school. If you want to practice law, you need to pass the bar exam. And that's in order to legally practice in the United States. And there's a bunch of different ways you can get your bar certification. You can get the bar as a practicing lawyer. You can only get the bar for the state you're practicing in, unless you're in the military and you do military law. So if you work for the Army, you get certified in all 50 states. And you work, if let's say you come out of Alabama, but you want to go to Hawaii and practice law in Hawaii, you can do that, and you're certified to have done that. And they pay for law school, and that was something I was looking at for a while. But I've got medical limitations that don't allow me to do that, even though I wouldn't be doing anything, active combat. It was more, policy and things like that in the military that I wanted to do. But that's something that I can't do. So now I'm just, shooting for what it is I do want to do. My backup plan is to join the FBI or the CIA with my just political science degree, and then join public policy and I do want to go into the Senate after about 20, 30 years in the FBI.
Oh wow! Well, wow. I can't. How do I say this? I can't overphrase this. It never ceases to amaze me the caliber of the student here at Eagle Pass High School. It's always incredible to talk to students just like you, especially from my first year after switching from teaching algebra 2 and pre-calculus to come over here and teach this elective course where I get the opportunity to run into kids that want to do a little bit of everything, and hearing you go into wanting to become a lawyer, wanting to go into the Senate, it's so refreshing, and I hope it gives more kids kids that might not be so sure as to what they want to do. It hopefully gives them a little bit of clarity that, hey, students from Eagle Pass High School, from Eagle Pass, Texas, are shooting for this. They are going for it. They're not afraid, and God willing, hopefully soon we will. You know, you never know what if we once you become a lawyer. I'm still teaching here, and we could do that future episode once you're an actual lawyer.
That'd be great.
You know, and for me, you know, this podcast I like it because we worked so hard together. We were here with y'all for 3 years in the program, and then y'all leave, and then we never get the chance to know what happens. But when y'all come back, I think it's just such a blessing because we get to share the stories, see what y'all are doing, and any aspirations and things that y'all are working towards. We're obviously rooting for y'all, and we want for more kids to know, you know, that it's possible.
Yeah, and I think on, like, just to continue up on that note, you know, just the fact that, you know, to kind of follow everyone that does leave at Texas A&M University. I made friends while I was here in Eagle Pass High School as a freshman through audio video, and they went on and graduated, and I never saw them again. But, you know, when they would come down, and I would, you know, go and say hi, and it turns out, you know, I'm going to, you know, to college with some of them, and they have tailgate parties that I get invited to that no one else gets invited to unless you're, like, best friends of them. Like, I'm 3 years younger than them, and, you know, I still hang out with them, all because I used to make videos with them. And so I think that, you know, the fact that this is an elective and that people can choose to take this course, it'll surprise you how impactful this elective can be.
Right. And oh gosh, I don't have any more words. I'm so so impressed. And so Jacob Ayers, thanks again for visiting us and for taking the time off your schedule, you know, to do this.
Thank you for having me.
Cool.